day. India, England, Australia. For a plucky big three-side slayer. What a player. What a player. What a player.
Hello and welcome to What a Player Concussion Sub-Series match day review of the first test between India and England. Finally, the 5-test match series has begun at Trent Bridge, Nottingham, and it was all India on day one, where England elected to bat first, were bowled out for 183, and India survived the day without losing any wickets and only 162 runs behind. Lots of talking points, including team selection, England collapse, tactics, etc., to discuss, for which I have Akash, Vishak, and Syed with me. Hi, guys. How are we doing?
Hi, Sanjay.
Great, Sanjay.
Hi, Sanjay.
Starting with team selection, let's get that out of the way. Obviously, India has had a fabulous day. I cannot understand how has Ashwin not made it to this level. Starting with you, Akash.
This simply defies any logic, basically. See, I do agree that we bowled out England for 183 here, but dropping Ashwin is absolutely not acceptable. He is your leading wicket taker in WTC. He's bowled brilliantly in Australian ground as well. And before, irrespective of the other things, he's the only one who got to play some kind of a county match, and he picked up 6 wickets back there. And he was one of your best bowlers on that green track in the WTC final. And you just drop him. That is simply not acceptable. He's got to be in the team. I completely agree that Jadeja is again a brilliant all-rounder himself. If you're picking Jadeja for batting purpose, and if you have a toss-up between Vihari and Jadeja for batting, and you picked up Jadeja, it's understandable. But if in terms of spin, Ashwin should always be ahead of Jadeja, especially in current form. So I think Ashwin definitely should have been there.
And I agree that Jadeja is absolutely brilliant. We all love him. It's just that Ashwin's batting has been exceptional recently. That Chennai 100 was probably one of the most difficult wickets we played and one of the most brilliant 100s. Syed, what's your thoughts on that before we jump on to how brilliant a day it was for India?
Not just Chennai also, right? Just to add, he had a match-saving innings in Australia as well, right? So it's not that batting. What I also was completely not happy with Ashwin not playing. He's such a champion bowler. In fact, yesterday I was looking into his YouTube channel where he talks about Trent Bridge ground and the legends coming out of the ground and stuff. And it was his home team for 2 county stints which he played, Nottinghamshire. And he was talking about which end is good to bowl, how the spin works here, all kind of technical details he was telling. And he was telling that he can use his experience here to have a good match, and then he gets dropped. So that was most disappointing for me. But I kind of understand that probably the management would have wanted to be a little conservative, because looking at what happened in the World Test Championship final, where they went with 2 spinners and didn't have much of a role for Jadeja there as well. Probably they were thinking that it will be too much of a grass and a swinging wicket. That probably would make sense. But nevertheless, I hope it doesn't come back to bite us not having Ashwin. So far, it's been a good day for us.
Yeah, and especially Vishak, considering that he could have also had a good time off, 5-6 weeks. He went ahead, played that county game in addition, and he bowled absolutely brilliantly. I think the best I've seen Ashwin bowl in overseas conditions. So I was really disappointed. Obviously, India has done really well, but quick thoughts on Ashwin not getting picked, and then we straight away jump into England's batting.
Yeah, even during a pre-series preview, right? We discussed on how good Ashwin has been in Sena countries, and he was also the leading wicket taker in the previous WTC. He bowled pretty well in Australia, as Australian conditions as well, and even in the WTC Championship, as Akash mentioned, in the green top, he was our best bowler. In the second innings, he was the only wicket taker. So, and it was actually baffling. But me and Akash were discussing before during the match that actually this was the team that should have played the WTC, and the team which played the WTC should have played this match. Even though we routed them for 183, it should have been the reverse.
मुझे भी ये लगता है आकाश, क्योंकि शार्दुल ठाकर उस 15 में भी नहीं थे, तो डेफिनेटली अगर इन्होंने 11 अनाउंस नहीं किया होता और शार्दुल ठाकर शायद 15 में होता तो उनका खेलना बनता था. ये तो इन लोगों ने कोर्स करेक्शन किया है. बट ठीक है, इंग्लैंड की बैटिंग की बात कर लेते हैं. अश्विन की बात, मतलब सिलेक्शन की तो बात चलती रहेगी. आई थिंक बट इंग्लैंड की बैटिंग की बात करते हैं. 138 फॉर 3 कुछ थे, उसके बाद बड़ा कोलैप्स हो गया. बहुत ही ब्रिलियंट बॉलिंग परफॉर्मेंस थी या फिर इंग्लैंड की बैटिंग कमजोर जो हम देखते हैं न्यूजीलैंड सीरीज में?
सीरीज के पहले भी हमने बात किया था कि ये सीरीज दोनों बॉलिंग टीम्स डिसाइड करेंगी, ना कि बैटिंग टीम. बॉलिंग वाइज दोनों स्ट्रांग है, whereas बैटिंग वाइज दोनों हल्के हैं इन टर्म्स ऑफ मिडिल ऑर्डर एंड फॉर इंग्लैंड केस इवन द टॉप ऑर्डर फॉर दैट मैटर. तो अगर आप देखेंगे तो देयर इज नो सरप्राइज इन सिबली प्लेइंग दैट 70 odd ball 18 runs. He's been doing it. He's like, when you have to score runs, he doesn't score the runs. He gets into his shell, and when you get an opportunity to score, and he just puts it right into the hands of the mid-wicket bucket. So these are the kind of players who are not growing for England. Joe Root seems to be the only pinnacle in there who holds the innings. Unfortunately for them, Stokes is out of the way. Butler is no longer, I don't consider him to be a test batsman, unfortunately. He is a very good limited overs player, but himself and Bairstow both for that matter. I feel Ben Foakes has got much better technique in test rather than a Butler or a Bairstow. So I think they should start considering Ben Foakes more than Butler or Bairstow. As long as they don't rectify the technique, I think we'll see these kind of collapses happening throughout the series. And just because England got bowled out today, let's not rule out England bowlers not coming back tomorrow. That's a different story. But for now, I think England's batting needs to be, they have to think a lot about the technique and how to overcome such good bowling attacks.
And Syed, Joe Root's form from 50 to 90 getting out after getting a 50 seems to continue. It's been a while. He's got 100 in England. Is it just good bowling, or people like Butler and Bairstow coming right after playing the 100, not had any first class games this season, and that could be the reason why they've collapsed?
It also has to do with the partnerships, right? So you saw what happened when Barrister and Root were playing. It actually kind of stabilized the innings for them, right? And suddenly there was a collapse after Barrister's wicket. And this is bound to happen. If you look at the squad selection or the team selection of England, they went with 7 batsmen, right? And only 4 bowlers who can. And in fact, Ollie Robinson and Sam Curran can bat a bit as well. So they knew that Stokes not being in the team is going to trigger a collapse in the middle order. And having said that, Butler and Barrister are coming out of 100, where it was all a different ball game, and it was bound to happen. And that's why they went prepared, trusting their 4 bowlers. But again, Root probably for the last 1 or 2 years, this opening and the middle order having this transition phase is not helping. So he's not getting that enough support. Probably today, Barrister would have batted another like probably if you have saved his wicket for T, it could have been a different game altogether. So maybe he's put on a lot of pressure. He might have thought that, okay, what if my wicket goes on? That would have been one of the reason. He's too good a player, and that's what we saw. Even in those swinging conditions, he made that 60 odd runs for his team. So this bad middle order collapse is going to hurt England this series, is what I think.
Yeah, and Vishak, quick word on Kohli and DRS, and then moving on to the lower order batsmen. We pretty much cleaned up all the tail effectively, although Sam Curran did get 20 odd runs, and I was thinking like, oh my god, here we go again. Another Sam Curran special, which will make that 30-40 run difference. It could still make a difference, but quick thoughts on that.
Yeah, when the first review was taken, we thought again, Kohli's woes continues, because it was a horrible review. It was pretty clear that it was away from the bat and they were going for a caught behind decision. And no way it was going to be LBW with that height being a factor. So, and the second one also, I thought like it would be a similar thing, but credit to Pant there. He persuaded Kohli to go, and after that came out, it was funny to see Kohli's reaction. It was a kind of an embarrassment plus happiness kind of thing. So it was good reaction. It was good to see that reaction. And even the second one, actually, I think credit has to go to Shardul Thakur for that. He came running in from mid off and said, "Bat nahi laga, balla nahi laga." So that was what was that is what prompted Kohli to go for the second review as well. But good, I think they're making some good judgments. If that continue, I think Pant also has. Pant played a very big role in that first one. I think he was very confident. He persuaded Kohli. He said it was close to the bat, not like the previous one, because he just lost a review in the same over. It's not that easy, actually, to persuade a captain and get it. So I think after doing a wrong decision, I think Pant did a good job over there. Yeah, I would. But it's good that Kohli is also getting the reviews right at the moment, and it would. The only thing is, two more things are pending. He needs to win tosses and also win matches. So those are two things I think he still needs to get it right.
टॉस जीते नहीं जीते आकाश, मैच जीते, बस यही हमारी शुभकामनाएं उनके साथ है। हम लोग प्रीव्यू में भी बात कर रहे थे, एंडरसन और स्टुअर्ट ब्रॉड का खेलना साथ में मुश्किल है, बट इन्होंने दोनों को खिलाया। एंडरसन, अजय कह रहे हैं कि थोड़े टायर्ड लग रहे थे।
हो सकता है। आई मीन जिस 10 ओवर ही हुआ, 20 ओवर ही हुआ है, तो कल देखेंगे कि एंडरसन का जलवा कैसे चलता है। बेसिकली अगर आप देखेंगे तो इंग्लैंड में, जैसे गवास्कर सर हमेशा बोलते हैं, डोंट लुक एट द सरफेस, लुक एट द क्लाउड्स। सो conditions were right when we actually got the ball between 45 to 60 overs. That's the time when Duke's ball actually does a lot of movement, and for some strange reason Duke's ball behaves that way. Sanjay Manjrekar was just pointing it out. 1 to 15 overs the swing was about 1.8, and then from 15 to 30 the swing was about 2.8. But between 45 to 60 it swings a lot. It has got a lot of movement, and fortunately for us we got the cloudy conditions in place as well at the right time. And if you see, all the wickets which have fallen, at least majority of them, have fallen post 45 overs. And they literally got bowled out within 65 overs. So tomorrow again, you never know. Conditions in favor of bowling, again between 40 to 60 overs, you might see a dwindling Indian middle order out there. So don't rule out Anderson. Don't think that he's tired or something. He's just maybe getting into his form. They've got the right set of 4 bowlers actually. They've got different variety in there. So all India have to do is just play sensibly and get past this 183.
Now to very interesting topic. KL Rahul obviously opened. Syed and us, we were having this chat, and how some of the experts have sort of indicated whether he deserves a place in the side or not. Syed, over to you. Vent it out. What do you think? Whether KL Rahul deserves a place?
A lot of talks about KL getting a chance ahead of without having much of test appearances or domestic appearances, right? But having said that, there were talks, and to be the fact, KL has a very good technique. In fact, I think a year back, so people were comparing him that, okay, after Virat Kohli, he is one of the one who is having a better technique in the Indian circuit currently, right? We could see that today. It was testing times. He applied himself, no rash shots, left the ball well, defended well. So those are things which we expect from an opener. It's a good opportunity for KL as well, right? So he got a chance because of Mayank's injury, Gill's injury. Ritesh Shah not in the squad, is coming back late and things like that. But he got an opportunity. It's time for him to make it big. He's such a great talent for us, India. If he does well, the Stokes, whatever he's playing, it's actually like an eye candy for us. So if he goes well, it will be good. And India needs to score big in this innings, which is very, very important to put pressure on England. So I hope he does get a good score.
And for the record, the last time he had a test innings in England was that famous 5th day 100 when he and scared the shit out of England, basically, potentially winning that game. But Vishak, looking forward to the next day, what do you think? India at least 150 lead, just bat once potentially, but with England, you never know. Always overcast conditions, you're never in as a batsman, so you should be careful potentially.
No, I would say that take it session by session. Don't look too far too ahead, because the first hour tomorrow will be pretty crucial, because the ball is still new. It might still swing around. We don't know what the conditions will be tomorrow, going into tomorrow. So the first, and the batsmen again haven't had a good time. They have just batted around 13 overs, right? So it will be again new day for them. So the first hour they have to get through without losing wickets. And then I think you can look ahead and see where the situation is. And ideal situation, I think, would be at least get to around 320, 330. In that way, you get 150, 160 lead. And mind you, India have to bat last. So we need to ensure that we are not chasing much. So we last time when we played the first test, we could not chase 180. So we have to remember that. And we have to get a handy lead. And then bowl them out quickly and try to chase a smallest total, which is less than 100.
Akash, England have not picked a spinner for a while. What is this? Is this the Pant factor? Because I think we mentioned this during the World Test Championship final as well. The way Pant destroyed Nathan Lyon, who's an ace off spinner, टीम्स मुझे लगता है स्पिनर्स को खिलाना बहुत ही मुश्किल होगा, स्पेशली लेफ्ट आर्मर्स, बिकॉज बट मुझे लगता है एक स्पिनर तो बनता ही है यार। कोई भी टेस्ट मैच आप खेलो 5 दिन में कभी ना कभी तो मौका मिल ही जाएगा उनको। इतना दो ऑलराउंडर है इनके पास, मुझे सरप्राइजिंग लगा।
बिल्कुल, मतलब अगर आप पिच पे के ध्यान दें तो 2 दिन पहले हमने देखा था कि पूरी तरह से ग्रीन था, लेकिन आज काफ़ी हद तक ग्रास निकाला गया था। लेकिन पिच रिपोर्ट में भी माइकल होल्डिंग ने यही बोला था कि अंडरनीथ द ग्रीन सरफेस इज प्रिटी ड्राई. So I think both the captains misread the thing out there and played 4 fast bowlers. There had to be one spin at least in each team. Unfortunately for us, Jadeja's batting has pipped him ahead of Vihari, and he's a spinning option for us. But in England's case, does Root expect himself to be bowling and picking up 5 wickets like how he did in Sri Lanka or in India? I don't think that's the case. I think both the teams basically misread the pitch out there. There is spin in there post the 4th and 5th day. Watch out for the spin. I think Jadeja will be handy in the 4th and 5th day, but we would have loved to have an Ashwin out there. So let's see if Root is going to regret this.
Yeah, I mean, even if Jadeja picks up 10 wickets and scores a century, I would still get Ashwin in, because if Jadeja can get wickets, Ashwin will be doubly dangerous. I understand all this nonsense about left-handers, more left-handers, that's why Ashwin is more effective. It's absolute BS, basically.
It's bullshit. Let me be very honest. It's bullshit. I mean, Gavaskar made it pretty clear in the pre-match session as well that keep these theories for books, play the right players, play them on merit, and you'll get the right result out there. I mean, this is just a theory. You can't. If that was the case, I always keep saying Muralidharan wouldn't have been the top wicket taker. How did he get 800 wickets? 800 wickets were not all left-handers. At least 70% of them were right-handers. So trust your best players and play them on merit.
Yeah. And quick point, Ajay asked whether it be early start tomorrow. No, although we've lost like 9 overs in a day, 10% of the overs. It never is an early start in England. The maximum they will do is extend another half an hour the next day. In India and some of the Asian countries, you would have a slightly earlier start because of the time zone and the sun factor. Here it's longer days, so they never have an early start in this country. Syed, a quick word on Bumrah. I was looking at him bowl today. I was like, if only you could have bowled this well in World Test Championship final, we would have won that. I was like so disappointed, but great start for him.
Yeah, so we know what happens when Bumrah gets into his zone, right? We've seen this in this last previous tours to overseas when he played Sena countries. Unfortunately, it didn't come good in the World T20 or World Test Championship, right? But it's great to see Bumrah back. It also gives confidence to other players as well. So if you can see how they worked as a unit when he has a good spell, it oozes confidence to new players like Shardul or Siraj. So that definitely happens. And a note on Shami as well. He's been one of the unlucky bowlers in the last few matches we have seen. Even though he bowls good spells, he's unlucky not to get a wicket. Right, and today he got 2 wickets off a ball which was not supposed to be a wicket-taking delivery, but still, in either way, he brings those crucial wickets. Even the Bairstow's wicket at a crucial time when Bumrah was swinging all in, he just made sure that it straightens up, and then he got a wicket, and that actually opened the floodgates for England. So these two bowlers have been very crucial. Great game they had. I hope one more innings they do the same so that we get a good victory here first up.
ये जो वर्ड अनलकी है, इससे मैं थोड़ा सहमत और थोड़ा सहमत नहीं हूँ एक्चुअली. ये वर्ड मैं काफी देर से सुन रहा हूँ, WTC फाइनल में भी सुना था और अब भी सुन रहा हूँ कि शमी अनलकी है. मानता हूँ, लेकिन एट द लेंथ विच इज बॉलिंग थोड़ा बहुत अनलकी है वो. लेकिन अगर वो थोड़ा और आगे पिच करेंगे डिलीवरीज को, उनको और थोड़ा वो मौका मिलेगा बैट्समैन के एजेस लेने का या फिर विकेट हिट करने का. यही गलती श्रीनाथ सर ने किया था काफी हद तक उनके पूरे करियर में. वो और ज्यादा विकेट्स ले सकते थे अगर वो बॉल आगे और थोड़ा पिच कर सकते थे. ये वर्ड अनलकी थोड़ा साइड में रख के आई थिंक शमी को थोड़ा और आगे पिच करना चाहिए. वो कुछ और ही लेवल के बॉलर बन जाएंगे. आई एम प्रीटी श्योर अबाउट इट.
Actually, the problem is bowling that Indian length, where we don't get much bounce in India, so you have to bowl back of a length to actually hit the wickets and top of the off stump. So he's bowling the same length, and if you actually look at his pitch map, most of the balls wouldn't be hitting the wickets, which means he's bowling a little too far behind. So he has to pitch the ball up. He has to adjust his length a little bit when he goes overseas.
ईशांत शर्मा भी ये काफी अनलकी, इनके साथ भी ये होता था, लेकिन वो जब काउंटी का स्टेंट किया उन्होंने, जेसन गिलेस्पी के साथ थोड़ा कोचिंग टाइम उन्होंने स्पेंड किया, उसके बाद से उनका काफी पिचिंग लेंथ काफी आगे हो चुका है. तो आई डोंट नो, आई मीन या सम बॉलर्स आर जेन्युइनली अनलकी समटाइम्स. कोई बॉलर आपको याद होता है कि उन्हीं के बॉलिंग पे कैच छूटता है, उन्हीं के बॉलिंग पे बहुत सारे एजेस एकदम क्लोज कॉल हो जाते हैं. बट आई गेट बोथ द पॉइंट्स. इसमें जल्दी से कल के प्रिडिक्शन के बारे में बात कर लेते हैं. सैयद, सो कोहली एंडरसन's last test series against India, definitely I would say, unless he just keeps going, because he does look to be getting younger and younger. What is the main threat? I won't necessarily ask about Kohli versus Anderson. Hopefully Kohli will get a lot of runs. What is the threat for India from England perspective? They've got 4 fast bowlers. Ollie Robinson was one of our picks from fantasy. He got on for a dark. But what do you think?
So more than Anderson and Broad, right? Broad, I know he can get into this outburst and take 3-4 wickets quickly in a spell. But India usually has this habit of losing wickets to new coming bowlers, right? You would have seen in the past, whenever, like even for the Kyle Jamieson or many other bowlers we have seen in the past. That's where I'm very worried about Ollie Robinson. Today also it was very close, one of the calls. But yeah, so I feel, and Sam Curran is also a very, very tricky bowler, right? So one good thing is Stokes used to be the guy who always comes in middle, gets a nippy in Tucker and gets Kohli's wicket. So luckily we don't have Stokes. But I will definitely watch out for this odd one out bowlers, Sam Curran and Robinson. Yeah, these two.
For me, Ollie Robinson is a danger man because he brings the ball in, and most of our Indian batsmen have this tendency of that weakness with the incoming deliveries, mainly Kohli, Rohit Sharma, all these people. So that's why I'm saying he would be the danger man. And if he rips through, he can get through those main wickets. It would be difficult for India. So we have to watch out for Ollie Robinson. If we play him well, and of course this is Anderson's favorite ground, but over the last 2 years, if you see, he hasn't performed that well. So, and we shouldn't be overlooking his factor as well. So I think these will be the 2 bowlers to watch out for. And hopefully we'll get a good innings from Kohli. It's been now 2 years since he has not scored a century. So we need, it's high time that he scores one, and hopefully it comes in the very first test and he continues the form.
Yeah, I mean, as long as India wins, I find if he gets a century or not. He scored so many runs in 2018. We only won 1 test. So he can have an average series, but hopefully we'll win the series, because this is the start of the World Test Championship cycle as well. Quickly getting a prediction for what would be the score at the end of day tomorrow. Starting with you, Akash. 150 runs lead by end of day tomorrow? No way, but maybe 100 run lead.
150 थोड़ा ज़्यादा हो गया. आई थिंक 270-300 के आसपास शायद ऑल आउट हो जाए इंडिया. And in return, I don't see, England's opener again surviving. Both of them, especially Burns is okay, but Sibley, I am not sure how long he's going to play in this team at all. So I think Sibley and Crawley, 2 wickets at least चटका सकते लगता है मुझे कल.
तो आप कह रहे हैं India would be probably 90 runs ahead, then maybe
90 to 100 runs
और 2 wicket ले लेंगे तो हम लोग effectively 70 रन आगे ही होंगे एकदम.
बिल्कुल.
Sayyid, what do you think? Give me a prediction for what would be the end of day score.
India probably would be around 280 all out is what I'm thinking, because I feel we will definitely get one good partnership, but I'm not sure. So tomorrow England will definitely give a fight back. That's what I hope for. Probably maybe England will put a good score, maybe 1 or 2 wickets like Akash said, or maybe 3 wickets to end of play. This will be a good one.
Vishak, spend 1 minute summarizing what happened today. If someone like, say, a Suman who hasn't had a chance to watch anything, pitch कैसा था, bowling अच्छी हुई, batting खराब हुई, क्या? Summarize that for Suman and other viewers.
Yeah, I would say it's a combination of both bad batting as well as good bowling. So I think in the first session, if you see, I think one big turnaround was the way the Indian bowlers bowled. They pitched the ball up, mainly Bumrah. So he learned from his mistake in the World Test Championship and he started pitching the ball up. But I was still not happy that I would have actually gone with Siraj with the new ball, because he swings the ball a little bit. Rather, they gave it to Shami. So I would have gone with Siraj. and swung the ball a little and tried to take wickets from both ends, because Shami usually bowls that back of a length. So that is one thing I think could have been done better. But one that was on marked improvement, I felt. But we picked up 2 wickets. But even though the pie chart there showed that it was a shared session, I still believe it both were India's session, because we did not leak runs. Usually, when we in the past, if you have seen, when India don't get wickets, you also leak runs. Here, even in the WTC and in this Test match, that what was critical is that they controlled the runs even when they were not getting wickets, and they scored only around 50 to 60 runs in those 2 sessions, so which was good. And then we got the favorable conditions in the third session with clouds in, and Bumrah bowled around 12 overs on the trot, and he was unstoppable. So
Okay, quick word from you. What do you expect the end of day 2 score would be, considering there's no rain?
both of them have gone with some similar predictions, so I would slightly go with a different one. I would say we will be around 6 or 7 wickets down, with around 300 on the board, and we will get all out early in the first session on third day.
Oh, that's more like it. Hopefully, it'll be a good day like it was today, and India will continue to dominate. But if not, it'll be a great test match in any case. These low-scoring first innings test matches are always the best ones to watch. Vishak, Akash, Syed, thank you so much for your time and your inputs. For our viewers, if you're here for the first time, do check out our channel for lots of other contents you would like potentially. We do fantasy videos, trivia section, and hopefully you'll come back and join us again tomorrow at end of day for day 2 review. Until then, be safe, take care, and thanks for watching, and do subscribe to our channel. Thank you, guys.
Thanks,
Salam
thanks.
namaste dosto.
Thanks, everyone.